Hello, YouTube land. I realized that I was in the area of where Frank Purdue, the big, the chicken guy, who takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. I believe he did over 200 commercials, and Purdue chicken, I don't think needs much explanation. Actually, this guy built that business. I believe it's like a multi-billion-dollar business today. And I believe he started it in his backyard as an egg business. And there's a lot of Purdue's buried here, but this one, I'm pretty sure this is it. I was walking around. This really is pretty shocking because this man was a multi-millionaire, and he chose a very humble place to die. And take a walk. I've seen some other interesting ones. I mean, this one caught my eye. Whose eye wouldn't it catch? There's just a name, no information, but what a beautiful piece of artwork on there, huh? Wow. And it's even more shocking is it's both sides. But this is a little tiny, very old cemetery, really in the middle of nowhere, and it's so humble. And this is an old graveyard. I mean, look at this, 1860. When I walk through here, especially I see all of these, graves, what always goes through my mind is, what were they like? What was their life about? Here's one that's so old. It's faded, but man, they must have had some money, I imagine. 1920, E.W. Parsons, July 22, looks like 8/15 to March 13th. I believe that's a 1920, and there's somebody else buried there. A lot of really old ones. Oh man, look at that. Wow. I don't know who she is or he is, but well, apparently the wife is still alive. It must be the husband. There's no date. It's really, every tombstone has such a story, and I really wish we could just look them up, how they lived their life and how it ended. There's another Purdue one. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people. I'm a member of a Reddit subreddit on that social app. Look at that one, 1927. Wow. And look at that big stone. I mean, I would imagine you had to be well off. I'm going to try and research some of these. I don't think it's, it's, I don't know, it's interesting. Maybe I'm just weird. Look, somebody left a quarter on that. Oh, they left money on that. These, I believe, might be Jewish graves in here along with Christians. I know, as I did another video with Joey Ramone, his grave, I know his last name's Hyman, and that's the tradition I know for Jewish graves, is you leave a coin. Yeah, so these are more modern over here, but you can see, I guess, a lot of the graveyard prestige is that these names are facing this road here, which is a hop, skip, and jump from a very major highway that leads to a resort. Now, where is it? Yeah. And I believe I found it. I don't want to end this video and go looking. I looked before. Yeah. And it mentioned, I think that might be his wife, I think. You can see she must still be alive. And, well, yeah, very, very interesting. You know, I've been living in this area for a while. And, you know, I don't know. I seen, you know, this is the area where, you know, a lot of that chicken, you know, Purdue chicken business is stationed. And, you know, it just got into my head. I was like, oh, I was just curious. Now, for a man as rich as he was, what a humble tombstone. I mean, really? You wouldn't know that he was different from anybody else, besides he's got a good-sized stone. You know, they weren't hurting for money. But look at these old ones. These are very intriguing. Hope you're allowed to walk around in these things. It's a public cemetery. As a matter of fact, there ain't even a gate here. Father, huh? You see, he's right by the road. Some of these are so old, you know, that everything is faded. I don't know if that will show up on camera. That thing is like totally eroded. The 70s. But when you see those, when you see these back here, you know they're old. There's a lot of old cemeteries in this state. I'm gonna, next time I'm out there, I used to drive by one a lot. Let me see, what is that? Is that actually 1890 to... Wow, that might be... I can't really tell. Maybe the camera can pick it up. 1885 to 1957, 1884. Yeah, every tombstone has a story. I really don't like, you know, the tradition today of, you know, everybody being cremated, but it is what it is, and I know it has been accepted by the churches, I believe. And, you know, nowadays with economic pressures, I guess it is what it is. Look at this thing. You see, I don't know what it says. Wow, a lot of these are, my eyes ain't that great, and even with my glasses, they're not spectacular. There's one, died 1912. You know, really, you don't know what kind of great people they were, like reverberating back to, you know, Frank Purdue, a very humble graveyard. I mean, that guy could have had candles burning, you know, gas lamps burning, and yet he chose, you know, to be interned like that. And I believe, you know, he was a genuine humble man, from what I've read. And actually, from a business standpoint, you know, we have to give him a lot of recognition for building that company, which coincidentally feeds a a huge part of America. You know, he actually fed us, and still his company still does. This is in its own little. You can tell this is old. It's overgrown. I'm gonna come back here again and do still photos from my Reddit. Very interesting. And yeah, no gates. I mean, Mr. Purdue was so wealthy, I imagine he could have had an armed guard standing near his grave if he wanted. I'm just gonna close it out over by what I believe is him. You can research it. My memory, I looked it up online before I came here and I remembered. And I also there you go. And it's not even that ritzy. Humble man. And we'll all remember him as that tough man who made a tender chicken. I was a kid when all them commercials were constantly on, and I actually did taste testing at one point years ago for his company. They would, they would compensate you for taste testing, and they would have TVs in the waiting room with just with his commercials on a continuous loop. And he had a nice, folksy, cool sense of humor. He was pretty funny too, you know. Anyway, here you go. I just seen my strap is blowing around. It's a windy day. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to be getting a new case because this case has been a very big disappointment. But Frank Purdue, the ultimate chicken man, who was a tough dude that made a tender chicken, and his legacy is running like a well-oiled machine till this day. Peace out.